Kaboom! 305. Let's go.
There you go. Welcome back, everybody. This is Amit.
And Dominic.
And I should have put my headphones in, so I'll make the sound a little better. Sorry. And yeah, coming to another episode. We are getting closer and closer to the best time of year, i.e. college football. So
305.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it.
So looking forward to that. But there are a myriad of subject matter that I want to touch on. Let's go with the first things first. Let's go with the fact that Supreme Court has now is allowing evictions to resume. Now, I'm of two minds about this situation because I don't know how this. I understand the dynamic, but I also understand the owner's situation. You are somebody who has been and is a property owner and has had tenants. What's your thoughts on this? I've always been a tenant.
Man, I'm torn as hell.
That's what I'm saying, right? It's like I don't want, like I'm empathetic, or actually no, I'm sympathetic. I guess it can be both. But I don't know. It's been a long time, and the reason I am kind of the reason I'm not remotely. The reason I'm stuck in the middle, sorry, is because the homeowners didn't get much by way of benefit from all of this, like with their lenders, with the banks, etc. Right? If I'm not mistaken, like they were still on the hook with the bank, but the tenant wasn't on the hook with them. Is that fair to say? Am I right on that?
Yeah, I think a lot of times, yeah.
And that's my issue. It's like, bro, yeah. I want to help somebody out, but I'm not a bank. And at no point was any of these decisions based on me being a bank. So it sucks, but I guess it's been this long that I'm kind of, I can see the Supreme Court. I'm kind of on it. I'm like, I understand.
Yeah, I mean,
it's callous, but it is what it
where
is.
Where are we at unemployment wise?
I think it's still there. Eviction. The numbers are
unemployment.
Yeah, I don't know today's unemployment number. Unemployment.
Because listen, as you mentioned, having been a landlord, I mean, it sucks. I've evicted people, and some of them I had no compassion for, quite frankly, and others it hurt me. You try, and sometimes it's their fault, and you feel bad, even though it's their fault because you like them as people, and other times there's been a couple of times don't care.
Yeah, it's
they're not good characters. They're doing this stuff, and they have no motivation to do anything.
See, but it's the garbage reality is people use those. I'm hoping those are outliers, but those examples
exactly. Which is why I'm saying many times it hurt me, but at a certain point, like it has to. Okay, fine. The next month, 2 months. At a certain point, you can't, because it's not just financial too. You start struggling in terms of your debt, your credit as a landlord, right? With things
which is financial.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's my point, right? If the bank was like, "Hey, you're good, homeowner, and tenant, you're good too, and we'll talk in 6 months or whatever," for example, then I'd kind of have a little more. It would be a little more equitable. It's not equitable right now.
Yeah.
Right. The assumption is the homeowner's got dollars to spare, and that's not where the landlord, independent home, right, has got money to spare, and that's not fair. So yeah, that sucks, but I kind of understand it.
What do you think about this? I don't know if I ever told you guys this. So because I used to be at the courthouse all the time to buy the houses, foreclosed houses, and you'd pay an attorney to kind of start the process, and I started figuring out, why am I paying attorneys? I can do this on my own. So I started doing this on my own. I just the paperwork in the court to start the process. And then I was like, I'm here all the time. So I started telling people, hey, I'll do your paperwork, $150. Because it takes me 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Okay.
It takes me 5 to 10 minutes to fill out the paperwork. And then at court, I've got to do this. And that's probably the next 30 minutes or so. But I'm already there at court anyway. It's not like I'm driving. Yeah. So I was doing that a lot. And then we went to this mediation for one of them. And this judge was like, you need to stop this immediately. I better not ever see or hear of you doing this. I don't think I was doing anything wrong, which is the weird thing. And I just kind of.
Did you ask the judge why?
No, I just gotta keep the mouth shut. Yo, no, I wasn't trying to step on any toes, but I was making some nice side money doing that.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
was a
I was
nice
gonna
little
ask you why
side
you
hustle.
stopped.
It's a nice little side hustle because I'm already there on $150 a pop. Trust me, dog.
Bruh, that's pretty serious. That's pretty serious. Okay, on to another thing. We talked about this recently. Oh, last weekend. OnlyFans. So
Yeah,
OnlyFans has flip flopped. So now they're
Yes.
back on the porn situation.
because
But I was
they didn't
listening-
want to do. Wait. Did you hear what they said? We don't want to
Nothing.
discriminate.
That was the logic.
Yes.
So
That was our logic. Yes.
that's crazy.
Yes.
So
So for those
what
of you who don't know, OnlyFans declared last week that they will no longer be allowing promiscuous and sexual content, which I mean is pretty much all of OnlyFans content.
But
majority.
okay, so here's what I was listening to a podcast actually this morning, and part of that was their lenders. So their lenders and their credit card processors were giving them a hard time because of the porn game. So for example, Pornhub, I think Visa and MasterCard or one or the other have both stopped doing transactions on Pornhub. So Pornhub had to switch over to crypto, right? Which only gives crypto more credibility, by the way, because everything porn does changes the dynamic. Literally, that's the world we live in, and people
I
fail
did not
to.
know this.
Yeah, so it's and it bothers me because really, you want to jump in the morality game now, guys? Like, why are financial institutions jumping in morality? Like, I don't understand it. Like, it doesn't affect your financials. Meaning, I would venture to guess that there is zero investor. There's a very small percentage of investors who are like, you know what? I don't want to support bank X because they are bankrolling or they're, bankrolling OnlyFans because it goes against my morality. Versus, hey, the stock in this particular bank is doing really well and blah blah blah. My investments are turning over very well. Like, I don't understand why people want to get into people's bedrooms. You know what I'm saying? Like this, it goes back to the religion thing, which bothers me again, but I'm not going to go down this track today. But that's the genesis of a lot of this crap, and it annoys me because that's one of the reasons OnlyFans had to do this. And then because obviously they don't have credit and they don't have the lenders or the processors, it kills their whole business anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. So they didn't know how to do it. And then the reality was, but by even announcing this, a bunch of people left to a competitor. And I don't know who's bankrolling the competitor, by the way. But now they're only trying to make up their losses, if you will, which is.
Can we also get to the crux of OnlyFans? Who's paying? Who are these people?
Brethren. How does
I'm
Pornhub
paying
make money?
something that you can just see for free
I'm
elsewhere?
with you, yeah, no, but the difference, what I assume, but it's like
But it's literally being a fan of that one individual, so you can see that one girl. I mean, I don't understand.
So okay, I've never been on the app. Is it not a communication one-on-one with you and this person, or you're just watching this person's page like Insta?
No, it's not. Because if you have if like somebody famous has thousands, how is there one-on-one? It can't be one-on-one.
Good
If
point.
they just go on there and you're paying for extra content, but I don't say you're literally
I don't get
paying
it.
for somebody.
Because there was this woman who was she's a perform. I don't know what the appropriate term is. Let's say performer for this situation, and she was making, because she's in the top whatever percentage, between 80 and 120 a month.
Yeah,
I was like, yo,
good for her. It's like
your point. Who the F is paying for this?
Yeah.
But banking / Visa, MasterCard, get out of the space, because God knows you're doing business in China, and God knows you're
I was
doing
going to
business
say,
all over
or
the place.
historically,
And
what have
this-
they?
Yeah,
business
and
they've
now
done.
you want.
Yeah.
This is what gets me with morality police all the time, man. The selective morality is a big beef for me, and this is right up there with it. So that happened this morning, and that I heard about that this morning. Sorry, so it was top of mind because we just talked about it, and I thought that was annoying, for lack of a better word.
You know what I just got into?
I don't. Why don't you tell us?
Let's see if I can find it.
Well, that doesn't help the cause at all if you don't have it top of the mind.
All right, shush.
And I got a filibuster. Keep talking.
So, Ricky Morty. Ricky Morty.
You hear it?
Hey, Rick and Morty. How are you? First of all, are you actually watching the show or just hearing this song?
Oh yeah. It's
God.
amazing.
The show, I told him
It's so demented. I don't understand the writers. It's so demented, and it's just wild.
I've been telling you about this show from when.
Yeah.
It is so good,
My
and
kids want to watch it. I'm like, I tell them, hell to the no.
it's not yet. And not only that, you won't even. There's like I watch sometimes like old episodes and things like that on Cartoon Network or whatever late at night. You watch an episode a couple times. There's so many subtle jokes you miss the first time around because it moves so fast that you're like, oh crap, there's that, or there's an animation in the background you don't realize. Yo, that show is amazing.
It is.
But the final episode doesn't come out till a couple weeks from now, September. Of this season. Of this season. This season. Sorry, the season finale, not final episode. Sorry, and that is it's like an hour finale.
What next?
Okay, yeah. Up next, how do you feel about Delta?
Oh,
I sent you a link yesterday. For those who don't know, what Delta Airlines is saying they're going to do, effective November 1, so not immediately. Effective November 1, they're going to charge an additional $200 premium for their employees who are not vaccinated. The logic behind this, per their public release or whatever, is that their employees who go to the hospital, the bills associated with that are then covered by insurance and are jacking up the insurance premiums for everybody are, running about $50K a person, $50K a person. So to mitigate or offset that cost, the people who are going to hospital and driving the costs are generally the unvaccinated. Therefore, they want to mitigate the cost and not have the insurance premiums go up for everybody. So it's in essence, charge the subsection who are choosing not to get the vaccine to the benefit of everybody else is their messaging. What are your thoughts?
I think
I get it from business.
I think there's a number. I don't know if 200 is accurate. I don't know if
I know the number, but
right. Maybe it's $20, and that would be the fair thing if you judge the 50,000 and average. How many people in the past year and a half have wound up in the hospital? How many you project over the next year to wind up in the hospital?
Independent of the dollar amount, the thought process.
No, the concept I'm cool with. I just wonder. I'm very skeptical on any company like that being fair with the dollar amount. How about that? But the concept,
I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
I
mean, and I don't know how to quantify it. There are actuaries who actually do this work for a living. But I find it interesting.
The concept. Yeah, I get it.
I mean, you're literally calling out a subsection of the population, but like you got to pay extra. Now, mind you, that also goes with it's similar situation because it's not. Again, people come out with the freedom situation, which annoys me. But this falls in the line of if you're a smoker, you pay more. If you're doing certain things, you pay more because you're just at greater risk.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, the smoking. But
yeah, I mean, so none of this is like a foreign concept, but people are viewing it as such, and like it's not. But so that's one of those. So I didn't know where you fell on it, and I thought that was an interesting one for you.
Yeah, I mean, to continue upon our discussion from another episode that hasn't been released, and by the time you hear this, it probably will, about health in America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, Dominic, the beacon of health over here. Yeah. Continue.
We have 2,300 people dying a day, so we have a pandemic that people are ignoring. And guess what? That 2,300 people a day is not COVID. It's double the COVID deaths. It's heart disease.
Hey, bro, I don't know why you're yelling at me in the audience here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no need for all the anger.
Where's the PSA on that? Right? All right. Anyways, go on. I'm done ranting about that.
All right. So that I just thought that was it's more the concept than anything else that kind of caught me.
No, I'm good with the concept. I'm very skeptical of the number and figure it's bullshit. The number. It's just.
And then now there's this situation where I don't know if you saw. I think it was a New York the head of the New York NYPD union, came out in essence saying that any vaccination mandate goes against blah blah blah. Again, the freedom situation, and they're going to fight it, and so on and so forth. And on the flip side, people are saying that this will weed out a bunch of the people you didn't want in the police force in the first place. And I was like, wow, this is a good turn.
That's going to weed out?
No, this is not – weed out's a strong word. This is – well, yeah, in essence, not all of them, but this will minimize the populace of, I don't know how to phrase it, of bad police officers. I don't know how the correlation works, but don't get me wrong. But yeah, I read it this morning and I was laughing. I was like, how is this the correlation? But yeah,
not the officers that
what?
beat up people illegally. That's not.
No, it's saying that. It's saying that those people will now be out, are more likely to be part of this group that'll leave, or that'll be, on the sidelines because of this particular scenario. But this is how it's ridiculous. So it's a byproduct versus a true cause of action, which I think is ridiculous. The fact that this is the lengths, this is where we have to go to actually implement reform, which I feel is foolish. But yes, that's kind of.
I don't get that. Oh, here's the next thing. We were just talking about houses and evictions. Hedge funds are outbidding first-time buyers at an alarming rate across the country, which is putting a strain on long-term wealth, right? But
yeah,
home ownership, that is the basis of wealth in this country. Like, even at the smallest level.
So let's talk about this real quick. So I like this topic, by the way, because now it comes into free capitalistic markets versus government stepping in to be like, whoa, you can't do this, right? Now it's literally that.
It's one of the, you have the majority of people say capitalism great, which I do, in its purest form. What we have here in America is not right, because with lobbying and everything, that's not its purest, natural, just free utopian form. So I think capitalism in America, for many aspects of it, sucks, because it's not in its purest sense, right? This one is rough because it's also disproportionately affecting people of color who are now finally accumulating some wealth and their goal is to get into this game where their white counterparts did 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, right? But in general, this is affecting white people as well. It's first-time home buyers.
Hell, I can't buy it.
Hedge funds are coming in and paying all cash too. Right now, they said, it's not that hedge funds, just cash deals in America now are roughly 1 in 3 offers, which is mind-boggling. In my name,
friends I've had who have put in bids and good DPs, etc., and nothing. And then, literally getting like somebody comes in straight cash and it's done. And I'm like, who was all this cash?
There was just this last week in my neighborhood, a huge deal. They closed all cash. A group out of California, which I assume is a hedge fund. It was a group. It's not a family, right? All cash.
So,
but like you're saying, this is the capital. Like,
how do you?
I don't know what we can do, or should we do anything? It's just it's unfortunate.
Well, hold up. I think because now what's going to happen is I'm going to have these the funds, if you will, which aren't individuals. Like, I think there's got to be a situation if you have more than X number of people associated with something, then they shouldn't be able to. No, but you can't prevent them from buying land. I don't know. You can't do that.
It's a lot of regulations and
completely. Completely.
Listen, mind you, selfishly, I like it because it drives up the values of homes in my neighborhood.
If you own a home, maybe you don't own it. It doesn't have to cause it all, man. Selfish ass.
No, I just said selfishly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's jacking up my rent too, which I don't need. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. I didn't realize that. That's something else.
Yeah, it's rough because the Negroes and the brown folk, they've been playing catch up for decades, right? Because white home ownership has been granted upon many and bestowed upon many long ago, from GI Bills to other incentives, which have given their white counterparts this ridiculously huge head start, right? Which has become led to generational wealth for many, and just standard of decent wealth for the masses, which the darker pigmented individuals by and large don't have and never had that previous head start. So now they're trying, along with millions of white people, are trying to get first-time home ownership and can't. And it's a cycle that it sucks, man. I don't. This is one of those things. I don't know what the solution is, because if you
that's the thing.
do things, it's anti-capitalistic, but I don't know. That's one of those ones that I struggle with.
I don't know how to play that game. It's just it's weird. And
you, as someone who's looking to buy a home.
Well, right? I extended my lease. We'll talk about this next year after I've done everything. You know, right? Because everything I looked at, I was like, all right, I can afford this. And then I was like, oh, look at that. I got to put in another effing, 30+K to make it something that I want to live in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I don't like, it'd be like, oh, I like the location. I don't like this. And I don't like this in the apartment. I don't like this. I don't like that. And if I'm paying some money, I want to be in some place that I'm all about. Right. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I just don't have the disposable income for all that, because I'd have to take out, and I don't even know the ins and outs. And I was like, I'm good for now, man. Let me just wait this one out and see what happens. Because it's hopefully by this time next year, it'll have enough capital to do all the things that I want to do.
You have some of your notes, border crossings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's funny. I have that highlighted right now. Okay. So there's
all the hoopla for everybody.
Yeah, I was trying to find that right word. I was trying to say hoop to do, but as I'm not the right word, I don't know what it was. I couldn't figure out what it was. That's what I thought. There's a big whatever hoopla, as you said, about the border crossings, right? Meaning that border crossings have increased post-Trump, obviously, because everybody was like, hopefully Biden will be more welcoming, which in some senses they have, some senses they haven't, meaning they've kept certain things in place, and by having some people still stay in Mexico versus having everybody come over, which was the previous method, i.e. anybody who's fleeing, what's the term? It's like you're fleeing persecution, but it's like I forget the term you're using for it. You're coming here for something. What the hell is the phrase? God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm sort of telling you.
Yeah, but then everybody started using it. Yes.
Correct. Come here for like sanctuary from hardships, and not financial hardships per se, but like tyranny, for lack of a better word. And so they're coming here and so on and so forth. And then they used to come in the States, and then we would do all the back and forth by way of, background checks, this, that, whatever, before you granted them asylum, and then asylum seekers. There you go. And then that changed. And so now what they're looking at is we're saying, so Trump changed it to say you got to stay in Mexico, and put the burden on Mexico to say you got to hold on to those people. A bunch of bad stuff happened with that. People literally were getting kidnapped, dying, etc. With that being said, don't get me wrong, they came here. I'm sure there'll be some hardships here too. Then it changed. Biden came in, kids were allowed in, so on and so forth, and blah, blah, blah. So Republicans were saying, Biden, your fault, you brought all this stuff on us. And then it's going back the other way around. But what I found interesting, independent of that, well, it related to that, is one of the solutions to curb this by the Biden administration, I found to be ludicrous in every sense of the word. Like, just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And here's why. Because of everything I've always said in almost every episode of this podcast, people are not that good. And here's what I mean. They were saying they want to go stem this at the source, i.e. they went to, I want to say it was, good Lord, I'm drawing a blank on the country. One of the Central American countries, not Mexico, I'm drawing a blank, neither here nor there.
Guatemala.
And they wanted, Guatemala, okay. And they went to the government. I think Kamala went down there, gave a speech, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what they said was, the reason that there is this much people fleeing and not getting what they need, et cetera, is because their political officials who are managing / governing the country are corrupt and are taking money from X, Y, and Z and whatever, and the money's not getting back to the people. And that's why you have a lot of the desire to flee to the US for a better situation, right? In essence, saying, y'all are corrupt and we're not. And that's why people are coming here. And I'm like, you're a friggin' idiot. Twofold. If you're assuming you're going to change politicians being corrupt, you're an idiot. And if you're assuming that you're not corrupt in the US, you're double an idiot, right? So I'm like, what?
It's US hypocrisy. It doesn't matter. The US is perfect. So.
But for somebody to write this on paper and go, hey, my solution, we're going to stop corruption. Just stop right there. If you're a politician writing this on paper, right? Like, look in the mirror. If you're anybody look in the mirror and be like, this is going to work. How is that even remotely, like, how can you actually implement this? So what they did, by the way, in Guatemala is they went and had the speech and they said all this. And I think it was the prime minister, president, I don't know what the terminology is there, was like, we're going to root this out. This is crazy. They had a person in charge who was looking into this, found out that the prime minister was taking a bunch of bribes and stuff like that. That person summarily got fired. Guess what happened? Nothing. My point is, if you're trying to root out corruption anywhere, just stop. And if you assume that you're better than somebody else,
start within. Start within.
But that's my point. You can't start within based on the systems we've set up in place.
True.
You just mentioned earlier lobbying. If lobbying isn't corruption, I don't know what is. Lobbying is corruption in your face.
Yeah.
So there is no such thing as no corruption in politics, period.
By the way, we talked about this long ago on the show. Most illegal individuals in this country come via air, overwhelmingly so, and overstay their visas.
Mm-hmm.
Not the border.
I know, but the border.
By the way, the illegals in this country commit less crime, despite all the fear mongering. And this is not to say, I'm not like, hey, let everybody in. I'm just saying the facts. Here's the weird thing. The irony is this, if we actually let more and more illegal people in this country, crime rates statistically would be lower. They commit less crime. So by and large, but that's a weird way to go. Yeah. What I'm saying is,
but it's okay.
But where's all the mass hysteria over people overstaying their visas, and we're just cool with them illegally in this country.
There
overwhelmingly so. We don't have any resources. They're tracking these people down for the most part. We just let them in, but it's the fear mongering of the border. Do we?
No, I'm with you.
We need to have systems in place. Visible. Do we need to have systems in place to not allow? Like any country, yes, of course. But we also need to be logical. And if the goal is to stop illegal immigration as a whole, well, we're focusing on the smaller part when we should be focusing on both. But
but if your resolution/solution is stopping corruption in a third world country, just slap yourself in the face. And whoever suggests that should have been fired immediately. Like, it's just the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, I chuckled and got frustrated all at the same time because it was that stupid to me. And that's your game plan. Let's stop this, which is very foolish. So that's why that was on my list. So now let's switch it around to my favorite person, Trump. Did you hear that the police officers and stuff like that have now filed a suit against Trump and his allies in relation to what happened on January 6th? So they're suing him and his allies for for what he did in causing the riot.
Define the allies.
It's not defined in the article. It's not.
What?
It's not. It says Capitol Police officers sue Trump, allies over insurrection. The federal suit alleges Trump worked with quote unquote worked with white supremacists, violent extremist groups, and campaign supporters to violate the Ku Klux Klan Act and commit acts of domestic terrorism in an unlawful effort to stay in power. The suit was filed by 7 officers. The suit was filed on behalf of 7 officers by the Lawyers Committee of Civil Rights under law. It names the former president, the Trump campaign, Trump ally Roger Stone, and members of the extremist groups, the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, who were present at the Capitol in Washington on the 6th. So I was wrong. It does list them. Those are the allies.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that to be pretty awesome because we've got this probe, if you will, which will, whatever comes out of it, it's going to be moot. I don't see what happens of any value play there, primarily because both it's Democrats and 1 Republican, which means they're going to be like, doesn't count. And then it's stupid. This, I would actually like somebody to be penalized for it. So I saw this, I was like, well done.
You actually think that's going to happen?
No, but well done. This is another lawsuit against Trump and allies I'm all about. I just find it always fun. I mean, he's got enough lawsuits against him anyway, so keep it going. he's got lawyers and retainers for days, and he's using campaign money to pay for them. So might as well keep it going. Because campaign finance fraud is not an issue apparently anymore. Again, corruption. Oh my God, look at that, full circle. Didn't even intend it.
All right, real quick, we gotta go. Shellyan, Elaine, Sharika. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
You may want to explain that for people who don't know what you're talking about. Guys.
Sha'Carri Richardson, we talked about her on the show in the past. Nike athlete. Seems may have a promising future in track, but I mean, she's 21, 22. She's 6th fastest woman of all time. She got suspended from the Olympics for smoking marijuana. She talked a lot coming into the race a few weeks ago against the 3 Jamaicans that went gold, silver, and bronze in the Olympics. And they went 1, 2, 3 in this race, and she came in dead last. And then she was talking afterwards. We'll see what happens. I mean, the irony is the future of U.S. track. You have Sydney McLaughlin, who's 400-meter hurdles. She smashed the world record. She's actually pretty damn good looking too.
Wow, this guy just
yeah.
Wow.
She,
That's where you're gonna go.
No, yeah, very sexist there, but yeah, I mean, just
Wow.
she has such a bright future. We're not focusing on her. Athing Mu, she's the 800 meter. She's 19 years old. 19. Olympic champion. She's gonna dominate. So all this energy is kind of focusing on the wrong athlete in a lot of people's opinions. Sha'Carri could do well, but right now can't touch Jamaica. That's it. Full of big chat. Can't defend that. What's the sober order? Be better.
All right, hold up. One last thing I wanted to mention, just for you guys to marinate on this. I sent you a link on this. The South Dakota AG.
Oh yeah.
So here, the South Dakota Attorney General was involved in a car accident that killed a pedestrian. The specifics of which I don't know, so I'm not going to get too involved in what should have been a situation, but killed a pedestrian.
He was on the phone. I don't know what that means. Texting, talking. Maybe that's
don't give a shit. It's illegal. Both are illegal.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah. So his penalty was for killing somebody. By the way, I'm gonna reiterate this because it had it been me or you, it's one of these manslaughter situations. I don't know what degree because I'm not a lawyer, but it's gonna be pretty significant.
He was white.
No, he's white and an AG. Corruption. His penalty was $500.
Yeah.
$500 and court cost of $3,742. So a combined $4,200 and change. You're trying to tell me that the person's life is worth $3,200? Not even that. It's worth $500 actually. Apparently, is this person's life?
Yeah, the life because the court cost is not the life. Yeah.
I mean, are you effing kidding me? Like, if that isn't blatant.
Yet, we have 25%, 23% of the world's population of prisoners locked up here for other.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm looking at this. Hold up. If anybody should go to prison for killing somebody because being on the phone and homie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't go to prison, by the way, $500.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Oh, but what it says was he got a very rigid community community service associated with this. So $500 plus community service. And it's a very rigid community
like the
service
Stanford
situation.
swimmer. You remember a few years ago the kid that was found in the alley raping a girl? He wound up getting off because the judge horrible
phrasing. Come on, man, be better.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yes, because the judge said that this would ruin his life.
Yes,
or something like that. And
yes, the other person fine.
He had a certain he grew up a certain way, and this would going to prison. Everything would ruin his. And it's what the man was caught raping a girl.
This is wow. So they waited a year and change like that, and now this is what happened at the hearing. So it bothered me because the attorney. I'll give you the quote right here. The attorney general was driving home from driving home to Pierre from a political fundraiser on September 12th when he struck the gentleman's name Boever, Boever, Boever. I don't know how you pronounce that. Who was walking on the side of a highway. In a 911 call after the crash, Rosenberg, the AG, was initially unsure about what he had hit, and he told the dispatcher it might have been a deer. He said he didn't realize he struck a man until he returned to the crash scene the next day and discovered the body of this individual. He pleaded no contest to making an illegal lane change and using a phone while driving, which carry a minimum sentence of 30 days in jail and a $500 fine. So he got the maximum. Sorry. So according to the situations, we're giving him the maximum because he was on the phone. It's $500, not the 30 days, by the way, and the manslaughter associated with it. My bad. And so they dropped the careless driving charge. Ridiculous on every level possible.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got. Sorry.
All right, but still, again, Apple issues. I mean, we're saying this ad nauseum. Apple's fighting us. They're hating on us. They're not posting the episodes many times. We are on Spotify. We are on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are on many other podcast platforms. But if you do listen on Apple, please, if you haven't done so, take 30 seconds to just rate the show and write a quick review. You'll notice that even Amit did it. He just wrote, Amit is awesome. So if you want to write that, that's cool.
Always telling the truth on this show.
Because we don't know what to do. We're just, it sucks. We're struggling with them. Yeah, that's it. Please. Getting very desperate here with that.
All right, everybody.
Spread the word. Check us out Friday Freestyle. We're actually about to go live on Instagram right now in a few minutes. We do it every Friday at about 10:30. Exclusive content that it does not show up on wherever you listen to your podcasts. So check us out on IG, check us out on Facebook, check out the website, theaibshow.com, and kindly keep spreading the word. It's our passion. We chat shit. We try to learn ourselves. Let us know what you want us to discuss. Anything, especially if it's something we disagree with. I actually like that. I like to be antagonistic.
Yeah, it should be a discussion, yeah.
Yeah. So be well, everybody. Stay safe. Justice over order always.
Take it easy, y'all.